Do you ever feel like you're drowning in a sea of chaos, overwhelmed by things you can't change? The news, the economy, what other people think. It's a heavy burden to carry. What if I told you there's an ancient secret, a simple yet profound key to unlocking unshakable peace and inner strength, no matter what storms are raging around you? This isn't some new age trend. It's a 2,000-year-old philosophy from the minds of emperors, playwrights, and former slaves. It's called the Dichotomy of Control, and today it's going to change your life. This powerful idea comes from Stoicism, a school of thought practiced by incredible figures like the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, the influential statesman Seneca, and the wise teacher Epictetus, who began his life enslaved, gave us the core of this principle. He said, "Some things are within our power, while others are not." It sounds so simple, right? Almost too simple. But understanding and truly living by this one sentence is the difference between a life of constant anxiety and a life of profound tranquility and purpose. So, what are these things within our power? The Stoics were very clear about this. You have control over your thoughts, your judgments, your choices, your actions, and your responses. That's it. That's your kingdom. Everything else, literally, everything else is outside your control. You can't control the weather. You can't control traffic. You can't control if someone is rude to you. You can't control if you get sick, if you lose your job, or if your favorite team loses the championship. Trying to control these things is like trying to hold water in your fist. The more you squeeze, the more it slips away, leaving you frustrated and powerless. Let's break this down with a real-world example. Imagine you're preparing for a huge job interview. You're nervous. You really want this job. What can you control? You can control how thoroughly you research the company. You can control how many hours you spend preparing your answers. You can control the outfit you choose, arriving on time, and the effort you put into your handshake and eye contact. You can control your attitude, being positive and enthusiastic. All of this is in your domain. Now, what can't you control? You can't control the interviewer's mood. Maybe they had a bad morning. You can't control the other candidates. Perhaps one has more experience. You can't control the tricky questions they might ask you out of the blue. And ultimately, you can't control their final decision. The Stoic approach isn't to pretend you don't care about getting the job. It's to pour all your energy into the things you can control your preparation and performance and to accept the outcome, whatever it may be, with grace. If you did your absolute best, you've already succeeded. The outcome is external. Your effort is internal. That is where your true victory lies. Marcus Aurelius, arguably the most powerful man in the world during his time as Roman emperor, wrote his famous book, Meditations, as a private journal. He wasn't writing for us. He was writing to remind himself of these principles. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Think about that. An emperor who could command armies and shape nations constantly had to remind himself that his true power wasn't over his empire, but over his own mind. If he needed that reminder, don't we? So how do we practice this in our daily lives? It starts with a simple mental filter. Whenever you feel stressed, anxious, or angry, pause and ask yourself, is the thing upsetting me within my control or outside of it? If you're stuck in traffic and fuming, you're focusing on something external. The traffic isn't going to magically part because you're angry. What is in your control, your response? You could get angry, raise your blood pressure, and ruin your own day. Or you could accept the situation. Maybe you listen to a podcast you love. Maybe you call a friend. Maybe you just practice deep breathing. You transform a moment of frustration into an opportunity for peace or personal growth. You take back your power. This doesn't mean you become passive or apathetic. This is a common misunderstanding of Stoicism. It's not about shrugging your shoulders and saying whatever happens, happens. It's the exact opposite. It's about strategically directing your energy with laser-like focus. By ignoring the things you can't change, you free up an immense amount of time and energy to dedicate to the things you can. Instead of worrying about whether people will like your project, you pour that energy into making the project the best it can possibly be. Instead of stressing about global events you can't influence, You focus on being a kind and supportive person in your own community. This is proactive, not passive. Seneca put it beautifully when he said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." How much of our anxiety is spent worrying about things that might happen? What if I fail the test? What if they say no? What if I get laid off? We live through 1,000 potential disasters in our minds, most of which never come to pass. The dichotomy of control frees you from this prison of what-ifs. You prepare for what you can, you plan for what you can, and you let go of the rest. You focus on the present action, not the future outcome. This practice builds incredible resilience. When you stop tying your happiness and self-worth to external outcomes, you become when things go wrong, and they will, it doesn't break you. You see it not as a personal failure, but simply as an external event you must now respond to. You lose a game. You analyze what you could have done better in your own performance and train harder. A relationship ends. You grieve, but you focus on your own healing and growth, not on trying to change the other person's mind. You separate your inner self from the chaos of the outer world. Your inner citadel, as the Stoics called it, remains untouched. Let's try a small exercise right now. Think about something that's been weighing on you lately. Just one thing. Now, take a piece of paper and draw a line down the middle. On one side, write down every aspect of that situation that you can directly control. Your actions, your words, your mindset. On the other side, write down every aspect you cannot control. The feelings of others, the final result, the circumstances surrounding it. Look at that list! All that energy you've been spending on the out-of-my-control side. It's been wasted. Consciously decide, right now, to let it go. Visualize yourself placing that entire list in a box and putting it away. Now, look at the in my control list. This is where your power is. This is your action plan. This is where you will invest 100% of your IFA. This simple exercise can bring immediate clarity and relief. Living this way is a continuous practice. It's a muscle you have to build. You will forget. You will slip up and find yourself worrying about things you can't control. That's okay. The goal isn't perfection. As Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, the goal is just a return to the principle, again and again. Each time you consciously choose to focus on your own actions over external events, you strengthen that muscle. You reclaim a piece of your inner peace. The beauty of the dichotomy of control is that it gives you both power and peace. Power, because you're no longer wasting your strength on unwinnable battles. You become incredibly effective and focused. And peace, because your sense of well-being is no longer a hostage to the unpredictable nature of life. Your happiness comes from within, from knowing you are acting with virtue, integrity, and doing the best you can with what you have. Everything else is just noise. So, the next time you feel that familiar knot of anxiety tightening in your stomach, remember the words of Epictetus. Ask yourself that simple, life-changing question. Is this within my power or not? Choose to focus on your own kingdom, your thoughts, your choices, your actions. Let go of the rest. This is the path to tranquility, the secret to strength, and the timeless art of living a good life, no matter the circumstances. Take back your inner power, starting today. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into Stoic wisdom. If this message resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content on living a stronger, more purposeful life. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What's one thing you're going to let go of today? Until next time, be well and stay strong.